Hey, hey, magic makers, here we are live again on a Monday for our tuning in. What's happening this week? Oh, yeah, it's happening tomorrow. The 8th of the 8th is the peak of the Lion's Gate. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'm going to be letting you know. But what I want to let you know as we begin this week is it's high frequency energy, not just for this week, but also next week. We actually begin now 3 magical alignments, which are absolutely at our highest good and helping us out with lining ourselves up. Because as we know, as above, so below. So what a delight to be with you again. Whether you're with me live or whether you're watching the replay, you're in the magic. We're here together. And as your magical guide, I cannot wait to share this energy with you. So just anchoring in for a second, let's just take a breath because the energy is high, which means keep breathing. The rest of this week into next week, keep breathing always, but when this energy is so high, we want to bring it down into the body, down into the heart. And absolutely heart and connected to spirit is where you really want to be right now. So today, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to share with you about this Lion's Gate and the peak and what it means in the lineup of these other 2 astro events that are happening. To give you the overview of what's happening over the next 2 weeks, because we can actually play in this alignment of the 3 to bring about the highest energy and magic activations possible for us. So I wanted to kind of give this overview first, so then we can tune in with our Lion's Gate peak today, and then next week, I'm back for the extra activations. So today I'm going to be working with the Wisdom of the Oracle and the Gateway of Light activation cards. And here's the first interesting thing. What did I do this morning? I went to my cards going, which ones? I chose the Gaia cards. If you know me, that's my anchor deck. And I also chose the Animal Spirit because I thought, well, Lionsgate, let's go there. But I knew intuitively, I'm like, that's not the pick. That's the obvious, but it's not the pick. And then when I tuned in, I was like, actually, choose what is in the highest alignment, even if it feels a little bit nervous. So here's what's nervous for me. This deck here, the Gateway of Light, it's a very powerful deck. And it's one of my newer decks. So I'm not as attuned to it as some of my other decks. So it makes me a bit nervous to do a live reading with the deck that I'm not as attuned to. But I say yes, because the intuitive hit was to go in that direction, and all of the energy now is asking, try something new. Have the courage to do the new thing. That's a huge part of this alignment. Courage, heart-centered courage. It's very Leo, and it's also about this Lion's Gate portal as well. And this heart stuff, it's absolutely got to do with the second activation too. So let me reveal them now, the bigger picture, and then we're going to go into that Lion's Gate. As we're doing that, I'm going to shuffle the Wisdom of the Oracle cards because we're going to choose one of these first. The magic makers who are here with me live, what a delight! Everyone catching it live, you're still in the magic. So what's happening now is we are in the Lion's Gate energy, and we have been since late July. And what the Lion's Gate is it always happens in Leo season, which is why it gets that Lion's Gate name. But what it's actually got to do with is Sirius. And Sirius is an amazing, beautiful star in our sky, which is known as our spiritual sun. So our spiritual sun has been lining up for us, lining up with our sun. And what happens in the 8-8 gateway, which is tomorrow, the 8th of the 8th, the Lion's Gate happens every year, is Sirius comes out of the shadow of the sun because they've been lining up and mixing around. Our sun is earthbound you. Sirius is the spiritual sun. So our two suns, our earthbound and our spirit, they've been kind of playing in the sky for a bit. And now Sirius is going to come out of the shadow and shine. So there's like many stories over different traditions around the Lionsgate portal and the gateway, seen as a very high frequency. Like one of the most common is the Sphinx in Egypt and the star lining up and being known as like a major portal time of energy. But what I want everyone to really vibe into for this particular Lionsgate is the theme of rebirth. Because we have this Lionsgate, the 8th of the 8th, and then on the 13th, which I believe is, on Sunday, we have this Venus star alignment, which is, we also get that every year when Venus lines up with the sun, giving us this Venus star alignment. And this Venus star alignment is all about lining up your heart, because Venus is all about your heart, relationships, your abundance. And Venus is in retrograde. So it's an alignment of like a redo, rethink around heart stuff. So maybe you want to try something new, or maybe you want to revive something, or actually say no to something so you can move in a different direction. And then our third activation is the new moon in Leo. So we have these three major points, and the new moon in Leo is happening on the 16th. So we've got the 8th, the 13th, and the 16th with three high frequency alignments, and they've got everything to do with your heart, rebirth, and alignment of earthbound you and spiritual you. What an opportunity, Magic Makers. So let's tune in now with that first alignment, which is tomorrow, the 8th of the 8th. We just got a jumper card. See that? We just got a jumper card. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to ask for a clarifier for that. I'll just keep talking while I'm talking about the clarifier. So the Venus, not the Venus star, the Sirius is our spiritual sun. And this gateway is actually all about really where is the sun in you aligning and shining, which is why we're wanting to activate courage now. It's definitely Leo season. And it's also aligning with what is actually your soul here to do. Sometimes we need to be jiggied back onto the line. Sometimes we need to realign so that we can actually work on our shine, on moving forward. And this is what I want to share. It's a time of rebirth, and we are in this alignment as there's a whole heap of planets in retrograde. So we're in a big realignment. So what happens if you try something new? What happens if you say no to something that's not working anymore, even if it worked for a long time? What happens if you take the courage and just say, I'm going for it, and just step out and believe in the rebirth of you? Like, imagine this. Imagine if you could reincarnate in the same body, like just as an idea. Like, I can redo this alignment. This is what the next 2 weeks is all about. And we've already received our jumper card. I'm asking now for a clarifier, and then I'm going to reveal what we got. Asking now for the Magic Makers connected to this live for our Lionsgate portal, officially aligned tomorrow, but we're feeling it now. We've been feeling it since late July, friends. Let's get our clarifier. Let's get our clarifier. Our clarifier for this card is yes, indeed. Okay. Our first card, which was a jumper card, is Yin in protection. So Yin is actually about receiving, right? And when we get Yin in protection, it's actually saying, in what ways are you not allowing the receiving? So often this will be when we get into a place of like, I need to do it all on my own. It's up to me. And taking too much responsibility and not making space for the magic and the co-creation. And yin in protection is also about like, it's also about like this protective space where when you've given before or allowed someone in before, it hurt or it didn't work out well. Sure, maybe that's a part of your past, but if you're in the rebirth, what we need to know about yin in protection is you could be mindful about what you receive. Absolutely. If something's a no, what about if you just gave yourself permission right now to be like, well, that's actually a no for me. It may, well, yep, that's actually a no for me, which means some people may be a little bit muffed or miffled in the realignment of my no. But there's some energy that you have been either receiving or not allowing that is asking for a realignment now. So this Sirius sun shining is just like saying, here is the way. What if you go in that way? Rebirth, courage, activate a new way, which means you need to let go of the old way. Make space for the magic. So where is the no? And how can you open up the space to be receiving from universe and the spirit what you need? And you don't need to know how it's going to come about. You don't need to know. I'm going to tell you a story in a minute, but I want to show you the first clarifier card, which is community. So a part of your no may be, maybe you need to start hanging out with some different people. Or maybe the community that you're connected to, you want to start to tune into, am I allowing myself to receive as much as I give in this community? So just breathe in now, Magic Maker, and think about who you hang out with often, work, life, love. Is that working out for you? Does it feel aligned? Or are you in like a little mini, or maybe major for you, revolution and evolution of self, very retrograde season, which is going to be sustained now for a few months, where you're like, I just want to do some realignments with like who I'm hanging out with, who I allow in, because there is some energy to be received in community now. So this rebirth, you don't have to do it all on your own, but you want to be mindful about who you align with now. And if there are people who you have just been kind of hanging out with for a while or years even, and it's not aligned, it's okay to allow the shift, even if it feels uncomfortable. Because we want to make space for this alignment of your rebirth. Because often people miss it because they redo the old energy. They don't allow the regeneration. So what is the no? I'm just going to keep shuffling while I tell you a story that was with me yesterday when I was tuning into the Lion's Gate. So the very first time I tuned into the Lion's Gate ever was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was living in Australia. I owned a home and I was living my life there, and unexpectedly my son Sage died. So the home that I lived in was just now felt like a house. It felt like I didn't need to be there anymore, but I didn't know where to go. Like I was really in like a real rebirth of my old life is gone. Like I'm still standing in the house, but it's not the home anymore. And so at the peak of the Lion's Gate, my house was put up for sale. And it was like completely shifted inside the house. Like all things that were personal about my son and I were taken off the walls. And you know how like people dress up houses to sell them? So it felt like I was in a hotel, like I was in like the waiting room for the next adventure. And it was connected to community because I was clearly making a choice to leave where I was living, and I didn't know where I was going. All I knew was I need to leave here. It was so clear. I need to leave here. So many people around me were saying, "Ooh, you want to make that choice right now? Like, your son only died a couple of months ago. Maybe you're still in shock and grief. Maybe it's not the time." And I was like, no, I can feel it. I need to leave here now. And I did. And my house sold, and I journeyed off. And I really didn't know too many steps along the way. I knew where I was going next. I went to Sri Lanka and worked on a volunteer project and was there for a few months, and that was amazing. And I remembered this story yesterday because it was like, this is the type of courage and rebirth that we're asked of now. Because when I was selling my house, I was like, I am letting go of all security. I'm letting go of everything I know, where I believe I belong, who I am in the world, everything. And I'm not saying your move is going to be that big, but every year we get this alignment, which is asking for what's actually lining up for you. And sometimes to line up something for you, you need to get rid of what is not lined up for you. Because, further down the track, I end up living in New York City, fabulous, had an amazing few years connecting there, great adventure, new community developed, traveled to different parts of the world. And now here I am 10 years later, and I live on the island of Tobago. I had no idea 10 years ago that I would even go to New York, let alone after New York, move to the deep Caribbean and live on a small island and be married and in a whole new life. So this is the thing about rebirth, is what you need to commit to, what you need to tap into the courage for now is the one step forward. You don't need to know the whole plan. You want to be mindful of who you're connected to because you want to feel supported. And you want to absolutely think about, how am I either receiving or blocking receiving? Because the star Sirius is just going to shine, and it's actually up to us to make that alignment. It's like the sky doesn't line it up and then we automatically get it. Our will and our intention is what actually helps that to happen. So let's get one last card based on this. So what's up? What's happening for you now when I talk about selling my house? The very first time I ever clicked into the Lionsgate, like, stay anchored into your own magic. And what in your world do you need to let go of now? What do you need to open up to being able to receive? Even if it's just like, I'm just going to listen to my intuition a bit more. I'm just going to pray and ask my guides and angels to show me the way. Third card with the wisdom of the oracle. That's the card. Deep knowing. Yes, look at that. Deep knowing. Like I said in my story, I did not know where I was going, but I had a deep knowing. I need to sell this house. I need to leave this place. I need to now go on a journey. In you, where is the deep knowing? You know it. If you go quiet and just breathe, where is the deep knowing? Now, when you connect to that deep knowing, what we generally do is we then connect to all of the things around and connected to that. Oh my God, if I go in that direction, it's going to upset that person. Or if I go in that direction, I need to pivot that part of my business. If I go in that direction, then my family is going to have to respond in this way or not respond in this way. What's possible for you if you just allow yourself to turn this yin around and receive fully guidance from spirit and supportive people around you that can support this deep knowing? So your deep knowing, Magic Maker. We always do. We always know the right move for us. The thing that gets in the way is our thinking and our connections to others. And maybe you don't want to upset people, or maybe you don't feel like you have a right to go in a particular direction. You absolutely do. And you do not need to know every step. So I would, if I was you, really connect into, what do I know is good for me? And if you're kind of in this space of like, I actually don't know, then what you do, Magic Maker, is you just say, I'm open to knowing. I am open to receiving. So we want to turn this around. So we're open to receiving. I am open to receiving clear guidance now. Sirius, shine your amazing spiritual sun on me and show me the way, because your deep knowing, your inner guidance system, your intuition connected to your higher I am presence always knows. It's about our alignment to it, and then just kind of trusting when you get it. And all you need to know is your deep knowing, and anchor into that. How are you maybe blocking what you know? Tapping into courage, trying something new, one step at a time, Magic Makers, because we still have the Venus star alignment, which is going to align our heart and our abundance. And then that Leo new moon when we really roar. But now let's do what Deb's nervous about, which is the activation. It's the Gateway of Light activation cards. So I'm going to see what card is revealed for us all. So we know now that really this alignment is in our deep knowing. We know. We need to be mindful now of how are we not receiving or allowing that? And is the community and the people we're hanging out with supporting us or actually blocking that? Whatever it may be for you, but you know, Magic Maker, you actually know what direction your soul and you want to go. And the way that you can really know when you get quiet and you breathe in, you can feel it. It's not here, it's here. Leo season is all about courage and connecting to your heart. Where's your roar? This alignment is all about high frequency energy, giving you some burst of light to move in that new direction. Because all three of these alignments, they're all about rebirth. Okay, so let me anchor in because, let's be the clear and present channel for the Gateway of Light activation cards. Because it was really clear in my knowing, these were the cards that wanted to play today with the wisdom of the Oracle, not the other cards that felt safe. So I'm going out. I'm going out and choosing courage, choosing to clear my channel, connecting to the fact it's actually not all about me. It's connecting to spirit and the universe. What is in the highest good for the Magic Makers to know? Yep, they're ready. Here we go. Yeah, baby. I am presence. This is the deep knowing. This is the deep knowing. So it's light body activation, accessing the divine within. Okay, so absolutely. For this Lion's Gate portal, so you can start to tune in today. If the deep knowing is not there, then just make space for it. Like the yin, it's like make space, allow yourself to receive, You don't have to do it on your own. There's community. You've actually got community in spirit. Call the tribe in. Now, when we connect to higher I am presence, for those who don't know, let me be clear, just because I think this is a really great thing for all of us to know, earthbound. Your higher I am presence is you, the speck of source that is you. It is your eternal soul. So your higher I am presence is the highest vibration of you. It is what is connected to the universe. And then through that higher I am presence, we work through our 4 upper bodies, down into our 4 lower bodies, and anchor into our heart. So this is the deep knowing. When you connect to your higher I am presence, you are connecting to your highest good. Well, what direction does your soul want to take? What's the rebirth needed now for your soul you earthbound here? It may be brand new, but to your soul, it's not brand new. It's just the next thing. Your soul is ready and wanting you to line up with it. So when we're doing higher I am presence and deep knowing, if it doesn't make complete sense, but you can feel that it's the right direction, don't worry about it making sense and just go in that direction. When we connect to our higher I am presence, you cannot go wrong. There is not a misstep when we connect to our higher I am presence. So magic makers, what we want to be doing over today, tomorrow, even for the rest of the week before we hit this Venus star alignment is some I am affirmations. This is why I am affirmations are so powerful, because when you say I am, if you say it with intention, you're saying I am, you are drawing that soul self, essential self, the part of you. When I say you are the magic, that's what I'm talking about. You're drawing that down into you, anchoring into heart. So now, what is your I am? I am ready. I am able and willing to receive. I am stepping forward despite being scared. I am going to say no. I am choosing courage now. Whatever it is, or even if it's like your soul knows that you want to be, like, say your soul knows you want to be a writer, but you're like, but I haven't written anything. Just say, I am a writer. And just continue to draw that I am presence down. When I connect to where's the rebirth, what do you want to kind of like bring about in a whole new way for yourself? Beyond the no's, beyond the things that aren't working, where's the yes? Where's the yes and? Create an affirmation around that. I am. I am. Like for me, I am a spiritual teacher. Yes, I am. I am also a writer and a speaker and an author and a magic maker. I am. For the Lionsgate activation, tomorrow for the 8th of the 8th, what's possible for you, magic maker, if all day long you I am? Today, tune into your deep knowing. What am I? What do I want to call for? What's the courage? Where's the step? Just the one step. You only got to take the one step. I am. Because then you move powerfully into this I am aligned, which will then line you up with the Venus star alignment and then the new moon in Leo. You could take that higher I am all the way through this high frequency, which we have now all the way through to the 16th. I am. If you know your I am, please comment, because I would love to know your I ams. Know this also, I am this week going to be sharing some different magical spaces. So we have a community card reading tomorrow in alignment with the Network of Women. I'm going to put a link below. Then also and that's all going to be about this I am presence and being in the peak of the gateway. And then on Wednesday in the Big Life Magic Maker community, we actually have a special guest who's coming to do a special event. Catch this, the power of saying no to say yes to you. Perfectly aligned, don't you think? So those two events are happening this week with the Big Life Magic Makers, the virtual magic community. You are welcome to join us if that tickles your fancy. And then next week, I am going to be back to talk about this Venus star alignment and the new moon in Leo, but there's a very special event happening next week. Rather than doing a new moon circle, this lunar cycle, like I normally do, I'm actually doing a dark moon cycle, because there's very particular magic that gets activated at the dark moon, and many people miss it, but you don't have to miss it this time, because I'm doing the dark moon event on Monday the 14th. I will also link that below. Also, if you want to really tune in with your deep knowing and your receiving and your higher I am presence, you can, with me, if you choose to, you can opt in to have a one-on-one reading with me. It's super fun and you get a lot of guidance that is specifically for you. Again, linked below. At the moment, we're offering the summer circuit breaker, which means you get the bonus of the 5-day activation for your intuition called ATTUNE. So, anchoring in this magic, be open to receive, say yes to you and your higher I am. It's okay to say no. You are not doing this on your own. You have spirit as your community. Align with the people that make you feel good. Tap into your heart. Where is your I am? Where is your deep knowing? And what about if, just for the whole week, all you did was continue to affirm I am as a way of lining this up? Really, really strengthening that alignment, because then the universe can say, giddy up. Yes, you are. Let's go in that direction. Your rebirth can actually magically unfold. You don't necessarily have to do a whole heap of hard work. You turn up with your intention, and our intention is our deeper knowing and our I am presence. Magic maker, you know, I know, you are the magic. You have everything that you need. Get rid of the things that you don't need. Say yes to you. Tap into courage, heart space. I am. Let's do this thing. What a delight. I'm so glad that I played with this new configuration of these cards. See, this is what happens when you go, well, that's a little bit scary, but my deep knowing is to go in that direction. So I'm going to choose the courage. And then there you go. You get exactly what you need. I wish this for you. I cannot wait to see you again in the magic. Please share your higher I am presence affirmation in the comments if you know what yours is. What a delight to be your magical guide. Thank you for trusting me in this reading. Breathing in now, I am, because you are. You are the magic. Big love.